Hello everybody and welcome to another week of Technique Tuesday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampin' Blondie, and thank you everybody for joining me for another week of live step-by-step crafting. Now yesterday we were supposed to have a Maker's Monday, but internet issues happened, and so we are turning this into a Technique Tuesday this week. I hope you all had an amazing weekend. It was really nice here in Korea. So let me just make sure I'm live over on YouTube. I can see that right now. I'm also live here on Facebook as well. So if you're watching, make sure to comment. Let me know where you're watching from. It's fun to see where everybody is joining me each week. So there we go. Looks like I'm live on both. So, like I said, it was a beautiful weekend here in Korea. On Saturday, we went to Costco, and yes, Korea has Costco. They have some of the same items that you can get in the States, but a lot of it, of course, is geared more towards the Korean population. So we were able to, we get a lot of our drinks at Costco. We like to stock up on drinks and, you know, household stuff like toilet paper. But also some fun, different foods that we like to try there as well. So in Korea, the second and fourth Sunday of each month, the big stores like Costco are closed so that people can visit the smaller local grocery stores and be able to give them business as well. So it was a little more busy than normal on this Saturday because it was closed on Sunday, but we still had a great time. The Korean Costco food court has some of the same items as back home, like the hot dog and the churro, but they have different items too, like bulgogi pizza, which bulgogi is a marinated beef. Instead of the chicken bake, they have a pork bake. They have matcha ice cream and watermelon slushies. So some different type of foods, obviously to cater to the local population, but some of the same items that you can find back at home as well. So that was our exciting Saturday. And then Sunday was just kind of a lazy day hanging around. Now today, like I mentioned, we were supposed to do this as a Maker's Monday, but my internet was having some issues yesterday. So today we're turning this into a Technique Tuesday, which both of those work for the projects that we're going to be working on today. I'm going to show you what is called One Sheet Wonder. Basically, you take one sheet of 12 by 12 pattern designer series paper and you turn that into 12 different cards. They're quick, easy to put together, great for all skill levels, and the perfect way to stretch your designer series paper. So let's go ahead and swap the camera. We just have a couple things to go over today, and then we will jump right into our projects. So the first thing today is, just as a reminder, the Relaxing Waterside tutorial bundle is available on my website. You can purchase this for $20, or you get it free with any $50 order of your choice of items. Now, this is a tutorial bundle group that I am part of called the Papercraft Collective. It is 8 different demonstrators coming together featuring one bundle, and in this tutorial you receive a PDF of the different tutorials as well as videos for all 8 of these different projects. I am currently working on June's tutorial. Right after this, I'll be filming my video and submitting my tutorial. So I am excited to feature that for next month. So as a reminder, this is on my website, stampinblondie.com. You can find it at the top. There is a PDF tutorial link that you can choose. If you filter the tutorials by latest, it'll be the first one that pops up, and then you can see all of the projects as well as a bigger photo of mine. All right, next up, as a reminder, all through the month of May is Stampin' Up! Starter Kit promotion, where you can get all 5 of the new In Colors, the 2026-2028 In Color ink pads, added to your starter kit for free. So what is in your starter kit? It is anything you choose. You get to choose $125 worth of product. It's $99 and you get free shipping. On top of that, the 5 ink pads. Now, if you don't want the 5 ink pads, you can instead choose $35 extra of any additional products that you want for your supplies as well. So I featured the new ink pads last week in Makers Monday. I'm going to feature some of them today for our projects. So you'll get to see how they work. They are new magnetic ink pads. Now, as a reminder, with the starter kit, you have no obligation to host classes, teach events, purchase any other supplies, or sell to your friends. So you do not have to do any kind of selling. You can do what I like to call a happy shopper and get your supplies at a 20% to 25% discount. If you have any questions about what it means to be a demonstrator or what it entails, I have been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 15 years, so I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have about becoming a demonstrator and what it all entails. All right, so let's jump into our projects here today. Like I mentioned, we are going to create 12 projects from one sheet of designer series paper dubbed One Sheet Wonder. Now, this is the new May to August catalog, and I will be using 2 of the stamp sets for our projects here today. The first is on page 34 from the Moonlight Floral Suite. We will be using, let's see, this Fern and Flora stamp set. So we are going to use this stamp here for our projects. And then also we are going to use the Exciting Times bundle. We're going to use every single stamp in this, plus the coordinating punch, which is the rounded rectangle punch. So we're going to use both of these on our projects here today. Now, what exactly is a one sheet wonder? So let's grab this here. And you know what? I forgot to grab my designer series paper. It is over here. So I actually cleaned up my craft room yesterday before putting this together, and I put the paper away without even grabbing it. So One Sheet Wonder. I have the template here, and you can screenshot this if you'd like. Let's get it all in the shot here. So this is all in inches. So for all of my friends that are watching from overseas, hi Susan from Scotland, you may have to finagle this a little bit into centimeters to work for you. But this is going to give you everything you need to create 12 projects from one sheet of paper. So we are going to be using, this is the brand new Paper Melody 12 by 12, and we're going to be using this black and white polka dot paper. Now I chose this paper because it goes with every color. And today we're going to be using 3 of the new in colors from 2026-2028 in color collection. So we're going to be using Crisp Cantaloupe, Golden Glow, and Hydrangea Hue. Now, half of our projects will be on, let me grab them here, easel cards. So 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2. The other half will be on 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 scored at 4 1/4. So you need 6 sheets of cardstock. I chose 2 sheets of 3 different colors, but you could do this with less colors if you want, especially with this black and white polka dot paper. So what we're going to do is we are going to cut our designer series paper down to this template, and we're going to use those pieces to create our 12 cards here. Now each card is different. They are going to be different designs, and this is a great way for you to create quick and easy projects with to have like a mass of cards on hand for whatever occasion you may need. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do the cutting first, and then we will go from there. So let's get this out of the way. The first thing you want to do is cut your designer series paper 4 inches wide 3 times. So the paper's 12 by 12 and you're gonna cut it 4 inches wide here, and you'll have 3 different panels to work with. There you go. So we are gonna start on this panel first. We're gonna cut a 4 by 4, 2 3/4, and then 5 1/4, 5 1/4. So let's get started on that one. Now, when I do this, I like to keep my template set off to the side, and as I cut the paper, I like to place it on the template so that when I put my cards together, I know exactly which one I'm pulling from. So our first sheet, like I said, we're gonna cut 4 by 4. So we have our first cut is already 4 inches wide, so we just need a 4 inch piece. This next one is 2 3/4. And then our last ones, we're just gonna flip it and we're gonna cut at the 2 inches wide. So then you'll have 2 pieces here that are 5 1/4 by 2. And that was our first panel. Our second panel, we're gonna first cut at 2 inches. And then we're gonna cut 3 pieces at 1 1/4. And I like to do this a little backwards. I like to cut from this way when it's about 1 inch wide. So we have 1 1/4, another one, 1 1/4, and one more, 1 1/4. Now the next piece you're gonna cut at 4 inches. And then we now have that 2 1/4 at the bottom here. So for this piece, you can see there's the cut line right down the middle. We're gonna take our 4 by 4 piece and we are gonna cut it diagonally right down the middle. And that'll give us 2 triangular pieces here. There and there. Now, this may be off the screen, so it may be kind of hard to see this last panel, but I'll still give you the dimensions, and then you can cut these as well. So your last panel, 4 inches wide, we're gonna cut at 5 1/4, 3 inches, and then your last piece will be 3 3/4 by 4. So we can move our cutter out of the way and bring the template back in, and you can see 1 sheet of designer series paper gives you all these little pieces to work with. All right, so we're gonna move this off to the side, and we are gonna start with our cards that are, actually we're gonna do these in colorways first. So we're gonna do our crisp cantaloupe cards first. And we're just going to be gluing down our pieces. We're not going to be doing any embellishments as we go. We'll be doing that after. So we'll glue all of our designer series paper, then we'll do the stamping, then we'll add it all on. So just kind of easier to work in that way. So our 2 pieces of 4 1/4 by 11, we're going to use our bone folder to crisp up our lines here. And then our 2 pieces of 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. So 2 and 2. Now, 1 sheet wonder is really good for, like I mentioned, making a lot of cards all at once. So if you like to make Christmas cards, this is a really great way to do Christmas cards because you can pump out a bunch of cards all at once, and then it doesn't take a lot of time to do this. So if you have patterned Christmas paper, this is a great way. Now on my website, stampinblondie.com, I have a picture of that template so you can see what it looks like a little bit bigger as well. All right, so here's all 4 of our crisp cantaloupe cards. So the first one we're gonna do is an easel card. So we're gonna pull the easel card paper here. And for this one, we need these 3 pieces of 1 1/4 by 4. And I'm just gonna pick, if I can pick it up, there we go. So we're gonna lay those out and we're gonna glue them on. I like to use liquid glue because it is a lot easier. It's quick. So we are going to use that for these projects. And this is just going to go right in the middle. So, and here. There we go. Now, as you can see, I do have some stamping on these cards. All the cards that I'll be stamping today will be using Versamark ink, so they will create tone-on-tone stamping. So what that means is that I'll be using one ink pad, and all of the stamps, no matter what color of cardstock I will be stamping on, will still look like the same color. So if you don't have that ink pad, this is a great way to match your colors to your cardstock. So we'll be doing that after, though, all of these are put together. So here's our first card. Put that off to the side. Our second one is a traditional card layout, and this one, let me get my ruler just so I can tell you the right dimensions on this one. This is the 2 3/4 by 4. I think it's this one right here. Yep. And we're just gonna glue this down. Now the best part about One Sheet Wonder is that you can mix and match your projects. You don't have to put it in the middle. You can put it at the top. You can put it at the bottom. You can put it going vertical, portrait, however you want. So this is a great way to kind of make your projects look however you want them to. But I'm just going to be making my projects today like my samples. But just know in the back of your mind, you can really mix these up however you want. All right, our next card here, easel card. This one is our 3 by 4 sheet. So that one looks to be, is it this one? Yep, 3 by 4 and easel card. So we need this one. And right there. All right, and then our last cantaloupe card, regular card. This one is 2 by 5 1/4. So one of these long ones here, and that's gonna go right in the middle as well. And that is it for all of our crisp cantaloupe cards. So in what, a minute and a half, we added 4 cards to our stash. We just have to embellish them. So that will go quick as well. All right, next we're gonna do our Golden Glow. So this is a regular card, easel, easel. All right, so our regular card, first one here, crisp up our line on this one with our bone folder. This card here, this size, is 2 1/4. So is it this one? Nope, that's 2 by 4, 2 1/4 at the bottom here. Hello, Kathy Robinson. And that'll go there. All right, moving on to our next one. This one, so we are gonna make a portrait card for this one. We have 4 by 4. So that is this piece right here. So this is a great way to have your template so you can pull your pieces from the template so you know what size you already want to do. And this one's gonna be, like I said, no, this is landscape, sorry, not portrait, landscape. And then right here in the corner for that one. Okay, moving on. Our next card here, easel. This one is, I think, the other 5 1/4 by 2. Let's check. Yep, that one's gonna go on the left side here. And then our last easel card, we're actually going to turn it sideways, and that is going to be this piece, 3 3/4 by 4. Hello, Nancy from Georgia. We have Shar from Wisconsin, Sherry from West Virginia. Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. And then turning our easel card on the side, and we're gonna add our paper right there. All right, so that's all of our Golden Glow cards. And then last we have our Hydrangea Hue easel card, and our 2 regulars. So here is our 5.5 by 8.5, and turn it on its side. We're gonna add one of the triangles, and that's gonna go in the corner here. There's our our first Hydrangea Hue. And then our last regular card layout is gonna be this top piece here, which is 2 by 4. And we're not gonna place it right all the way in the corner. It's going to go kind of in the middle at the bottom. There we go. Our first easel card, we're gonna use that last triangle at the bottom. Here we go. Hello, Missouri. Hello, Georgia. And then right there. And then our last piece is the biggest one, 5.25 by 4 on our last easel card. And that's just obviously gonna go right in the middle here. So in about 5 minutes, if even that, we just created 12 cards from one sheet of designer series paper. Like I said, this template, it's probably cut off on certain parts here. This template is on my website, so you can go check that out and see. I just took a piece of white 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, and I used my ruler and I lined everything out so you can recreate this very easily. But this is a great template to have. Like I said, after you cut everything, you can place all the pieces right on the template, and then you can use that to put together your cards here. All right, now comes the fun part of how we are going to organize and embellish these cards. So let's put these all from the new ones to the ones we're working on. There we go. It's like I'm a card dealer. Okay. All right. So like I mentioned, we're going to be using Versamark ink. So this is a watermark stamp pad. So it has like clear ink on it. So no matter where you stamp on cardstock, it is going to give you that look. So it's going to look like crisp cantaloupe on this paper. When I stamp it on Golden Glow, it's going to look like Golden Glow. So I wanted to choose this. I wanted to pick this stamp pad because I wanted to show you how easy it was with just one color of ink pad. You could put these together. Now when I go to embellish it, we will be using the coordinating colored ink pads, but just a little bit easier way to put this together here for these projects. All right, so we're going to ink up our Versamark. Now Versamark is originally used for embossing, heat embossing, but we're just going to be using it in a different variety here today. All right, this project, we're just gonna add a little bit of a fern stamp at the bottom there. So that one's done. We can flip that one over. This next one, we're gonna add a fern at the bottom here. And one in the upper left corner. Now, you could really do this with whatever type of project stamp you wanted to use. You don't have to use a fern. You can use a variety of different things, but I thought the fern was nice. Now this card, I didn't add any stamping to it with the fern background, so we're just going to move on from that one. This one, we're going to stamp the fern down the sides. Just a couple of times on each side. And depending on how much Versamark you use is how dark your image is going to be. Now it does get a little bit darker as it dries, So just give it a few seconds if you've never used it before. It's kind of a tacky ink. It has, because it is for heat embossing, it's meant to grip that powder, but it can be used for other things as well. All right, that card's done. Moving on to the Golden Glow. So this one, we're going to stamp the fern in that space right here. And there you can see, it just takes the color of the cardstock that it gets stamped on. And flip that. This one, we have our card that opens up this way. We're gonna do a little fern in the corner. And you can stamp the whole fern, you can stamp part of the fern. It just depends on how much you wanna add to that little shadow on there. This one, lower right corner. And you can see how quick and easy it is with just one ink pad. You don't have to worry about swapping colors. Oops, that one goes over here. You don't have to worry about swapping colors and making sure you clean off your stamp really well. So that's the great part about Versamark too. There. Great, we're moving on to our Hydrangea Hue. So big fern right in this space here. Make sure it's inked up really well. Ooh, almost dropped it on the paper. There, so you can see it just takes the color of the cardstock. All right, this one's gonna go right in there. I think I use my Versamark ink pad more for doing this kind of technique than actual heat embossing. While I like heat embossing, just the whole like cleaning up the stamp and doing the powder and the heat, sometimes it can get a little messy. So I just try to minimize my heat embossing. It's really a fun technique, but it's sometimes not worth the cleanup. Now this one I'm doing the most decorative stamping on. I'm really filling in that whole space here. Let's get that right in there. There we go. And then this last piece is big, so we don't need any stamping on that one. And we are done with our Versamark. All right, flipping back here. Oh, we're actually gonna do it backwards. So we need it this way here. So we are now going to work on our sentiment pieces. Now, just because it takes a little bit longer, I pre-stamped and cut the sentiment pieces, the background portion at least. So this stamp set that I showed, where did it go? Right here. The Exciting Time stamp set. This is the piece that fits the rounded rectangle punch. Unfortunately, this piece does not. So I had to hand cut all of the little sentiment pieces, but that's okay. It kind of saved time. They're super easy. It's all straight lines, so just very easy to cut out for those projects. But we are going to stamp this little embellishment and the sentiment pieces here as well. Like I said, we're going to use every single part of that stamp set for this portion. Now we are going to be using Tuxedo Black Memento ink, Golden Glow, Hydrangea Hue, and Crisp Cantaloupe to match our projects that we are doing. So first we're going to start with the Starburst, and we're going to stamp 4 of each color. Now because the rounded rectangle punch is going horizontal, we are going to stamp our images horizontal as well. It just helps with the stamping process when it gets to that point. So we'll start with our Golden Glow here. These are the new magnetic ink pads. Okay, and so 1, 2, you need 4 of each color, 3. And you could really, when you do these projects, you could do them in, oh gosh, what's it called? When you make all the pieces at once and then you assemble everything together. It's totally spacing my mind right now what it is called when you prep all the pieces, but that's the easiest way to do all these cards. Of course, when I'm doing it on live, I can't do that. But if you were to make these, prepping all of the little pieces, then putting it together is the easiest way. All right, Crisp Cantaloupe is our next color. And this is a fun stamp. I really liked this one. As soon as I saw it, it's different, and I like that it fits the sentiments to go along with it as well. All right, and I need one more piece of white cardstock. Let's see, will they fit? They'll fit on here. And then our hydrangea hue. You always want to clean your stamp off. Yes, doing batches. That I couldn't think of the word, it just wasn't coming to me. So when you change your ink pad colors, you want to make sure that you clean off your stamps in between. So we've got hydrangea hue, and I can do it this way, kind of do a little. It's a great way to use up scraps too. I've got some scrap paper here. There we go. Now, before we punch everything out, we're going to stamp our sentiments inside each. Now, because we have 3 colors, and the stamp set has 4 different sentiments, you're going to stamp each one 4 times. 12 cards. Tuxedo Black Memento is what I'm going to use. So we're going to do You Did It in one color, and then Golden Crisp. Our next sentiment, Let's Celebrate. Get that inked up better. There we go. Our next one, so the next sentiment, let me get these pulled apart. There we go. The next sentiment is actually 2 different stamps that I put together. The thank you and so much I added to one stamp block, so it's just easier to ink it up all at once. And then our last sentiment is the happy birthday to you, and this is all one word. There we go. So now all of our sentiment pieces, our little flourish pieces are all stamped, and we just need to punch now. I'm gonna trim this down after I punch these all out. I love punches because they're a lot faster than setting up the die cut machine. Sometimes once you get your die set up, it's just easier to either hand cut it out, or it would have been easier if there was a punch. Just gonna trim this down so we can get to the ones here. There we go. And I'm adding all of them to their own little pile, coordinating with the sentiment. So all the thank yous, all the let's celebrates, they'll be all together, easy to put together once you assemble. That was the word I was looking for. Do assembly stamping, so you can add everything together. See, it just like came to me as I was talking it out here. Let's celebrate. And then our last 2 with thank you. and our happy birthday. Here we go. All 4 sentiments. 3 times we have our 12 sentiments for our projects. All right, now we're going to add dimensionals to the back of those, and we are going to assemble the cards. So our Let's Celebrate, we're gonna add 2 dimensionals to that part, glue this to our pre-stamped piece, add glue to the back of that, and then lower corner, and that is our first fully assembled project. Quick and simple, so we'll add that to the pile. This next one here, we have our happy birthday, so dimensionals. You can see once you have all of your sentiments pre-stamped and cut out, how much faster it goes to put everything together. Now on all these projects here today, I did not add any embellishments such as rhinestones, gems, or ribbon, because I wanted to show how fast and easy they can be put together without anything else. Especially for beginner stampers who may not have a lot of supplies in their stash just yet. You can see how you only need a couple of things to put these together. And they're usually simple supplies that we have in our craft space to put them together. All right, you did it. So this is our last hydrangea hue one. And there we go. And that'll go right off to the side. All right, our Golden Glow, we're gonna do You Did It. So once, like I said, once you got everything stamped, you can assemble. It goes along much faster. There we go. So these are, like I mentioned, Hydrangea Hue, Crisp Cantaloupe, and Golden Glow are 3 of the new 2026-2028 in colors. And when I first saw Golden Glow, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna like this one, but I think Golden Glow is quickly becoming my newest favorite, only because it goes really well with darker colors, it goes really well with brighter colors, but also I can't wait for fall crafting to be able to use this color in fall crafts. Fall crafting is my favorite. I actually like it more than Christmas crafting. I like the darker tones. Now I usually tend to gravitate towards brighter colors, like pinks and Coastal Cabana, those kind of colors, but fall crafting is definitely my favorite. I love the darker tones of Golden Glow will be perfect for it, but like cherry cobbler and pumpkin pie with Golden Glow is just going to be perfect for fall crafting. And we haven't seen what's coming. We have not seen what is coming in the newest fall catalog, so I'm excited to see. Usually they have some pretty good fall themed stamp sets to work with too, so I definitely enjoy that. All right, so that's all of our Golden Glow cards. Now we're moving on to our last batch here of our Crisp Cantaloupe. So our happy birthday, and you can see you get kind of into a rhythm, add your dimensionals, add the glue, stick, move on to the next card. And to have 12 different cards on hand at a moment's notice is perfect if you have a quick birthday party to attend, if you have a thank you card you need to make very fast, then it's a great way to have a bunch of cards on hand for something like that. Right, our last thank you. This is the one that we did not stamp any of the ferns on. Just stamp ink and paper. No super crazy embellishments needed. Well, we had a punch in there, but anybody can punch. You don't have to have certain skills to do punching. All right, and then moving on to our last project right here, our Let's Celebrate. Dimensionals, add the sentiment, add the glue, and there we go. There is our last card. So, like I said, in 40 minutes, less than 40 minutes, probably like 30 minutes, we made 12 cards that are quick and simple to create. But let me know in the comments which color is your favorite. We have Hydrangea Hue, Golden Glow, and Crisp Cantaloupe. Like I said, Golden Glow is definitely going to be my favorite for fall crafting. Right now it's Crisp Cantaloupe because I really like spring and summer. So I'm very excited about that color. And it's actually returning in color, so we've had it before. So I loved that they brought it back. But of course, turning into fall crafting, Golden Glow is definitely going to be my favorite. So which one is your favorite? Hydrangea Hue, Golden Glow, or Crisp Cantaloupe? All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining me for Technique Tuesday, which was supposed to be Makers Monday, but thanks to internet issues, we were able to get our projects done today. Now, as a little quick note, the next 3 weeks, there will not be a Makers Monday. Next week, I have book club with my family. And then the next 2 weeks after that, I will be in Japan visiting. So I will not be doing Makers Monday. I look forward to coming back to you in a few weeks with more step-by-step projects. And until then, have an amazing week, and I will see you.